Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
I'm just kind of puzzled as to what to do now.
An area mom says she's feeling helpless and has a warning for other parents whose kids have a Facebook account. Thank you for joining us tonight. Facebook requires users to be at least 13 years old to have an account, but children can lie about their age and create an account anyway. Valley News Team's Ashley Bishop investigates the struggle one mom is facing in getting her child's personal information off the World Wide Web.
Facebook has more than 1 billion users each month, but not every parent wants their kids to be on the social media giant just yet.
It's been something that they're not really ready for at this point, that down the road we might look at it again.
One of Melody Anderson's 12-year-old twin boys who has special needs created an account behind her back in January.
He doesn't understand cognitively really what happens with the material that's put out on the internet, that good and bad, it stays out there basically forever.
Her son made up an email and password but couldn't remember the information to delete the account.
Then I went down to the very bottom that says this profile is underage and should not be on Facebook.
Anderson reported the account several times but says it's been about a month.
If you're reporting a child's account registered under false date of birth and the child's age is reasonably verifiable as under age 13, we will promptly delete this account.
Facebook says they do not send confirmation to the parents about deleting an account, and that creating an account under the age of 13 is a violation of their terms. Facebook says because of their privacy laws, they cannot give parents access to monitor their child's account unless they are the account holder. Anderson wants to know why Facebook doesn't have a verification system for accounts under 18.
Before that age, there should be some sort of communication with the parents, not that the parents have to be looking over the shoulder of the child necessarily, but aware.
And why it takes so long to disable an underage account.
A month is, in my estimation, not very prompt.
Ashley Bishop, Valley News Live.
We contacted Facebook about Anderson's situation. A spokesperson from Facebook says they do have a 13-year-old user policy. They also asked for Anderson's son's Facebook account URL. Melody Anderson reached out to our Whistleblower Hotline for help. If you have issues in your community, go to our website and submit your tip under the Whistleblower Hotline. A member of our team will get back with you. Hundreds of people from around the Buffalo area are coming out in protest of a proposed hog factory. They're voicing their concerns to the North Dakota Department of Health. Valley News Team's Natalie Parsons joins us live from that hearing. Natalie?
Andrea, you can see that the hearing is still going on behind me, and it started at 2 p.m. this afternoon. Those opposing the swine facility are here to voice their concerns on health and lifestyle changes that are to come if it is to be built. At max capacity, the facility will hold 9,000 sow, and people are concerned about the stench it will bring to this rural town and those around it. People are also not happy that it will be a large industrial facility coming to the area, especially when it thrives on local family agriculture. Natalie Parsons, Valley News Live.
All right, thank you, Natalie. We'll have much more on this story on Valley News Live, 10 at 10. Snow has been falling on and off today for a lot of us, and there's a good chance of it again tonight. Let's find out what we can expect. Hutch?
Thanks so much, Andrea. As we take a look at the latest radar, most of the snow is falling in the eastern third of North Dakota. Now it stretches from the Fargo area up toward Devil's Lake, where we've got a report near Starkweather of a couple of inches of snow. Much of it is melting in our southern counties throughout the day as well. So not a lot of snow pack out there from this, but we have reports of much more snow up in the Baudette area near War Road, where 8 inches to a foot of snow have been reported. Notice the snowfall has ended in those areas. We have a system that's moving across the region and it's stalling right in this area. And guess what that means? The next couple of days, on again, off again, bounce with showers of flakes this evening. If you're out and about, the trend is going to continue. In the southern counties, we do not have a lot of freezing temperatures, cold enough to keep those roads real icy, but overnight that could happen. So watch for slippery spots. Fergus Falls and Lakes Country could be a little colder late tonight, and up north where there's many inches of snow, expect temperatures in the 20s, maybe even teens, to cause icy conditions. Your hour-by-hour forecast, and when we warm up as spring approaches, is coming up in Maine weather here in a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Hutch. A Crookston man has been charged with being nude while threatening to kill and rape children at a bus stop. Eric Olson faces 8 counts of threats of violence and lewd exhibition for a bizarre, frightening incident that happened earlier this week. Valley News Team's Neil Carlson shows us what happened.
According to court documents, it happened here on the 800 block of North Main Street in Crookston on Monday afternoon. A group of 8 to 10-year-old school children were waiting at the bus stop. Then, according to court records, Eric Olson stepped out in front of the children. He was nude and masturbating. He began to yell at the children that he was going to rape and kill them. The kids were able to safely run home and report the incident. Police quickly found Olson at this nearby apartment building. A next-door neighbor saw some of what happened.
Seen a gentleman on the back deck back there, and there was nobody next to him, but he was ranting and raving and using foul language.
Did he have his clothes on?
At that time, he only had his pants on.
All
Yeah.
right.
So that's pretty much all I saw, and then I filled the police in about what was going on. And
Okay, so he was just kind of screaming at the wind?
yep, there was absolutely nobody next to him.
The charges against Eric Olson include 4 counts of threats of violence, which are felonies that each carry a maximum sentence of 5 years in prison. The 4 counts of lewd exhibition against Olson are misdemeanors that carry a maximum sentence of 1 year in jail. In Crookston, Neil Carlson, Valley News Live.
Eric Olson made his first court appearance today and remains in jail. He has a long history that includes terroristic threats, theft, and drug use. A former Grand Forks bank employee has been charged with finding nude photos on a coworker's phone and texting them to himself. 32-year-old Patrick Foley, who was working at Bank Forward in Grand Forks, is charged with dissemination of sexual images. It's a Class A misdemeanor that carries a maximum sentence of 1 year in jail. Foley allegedly convinced a coworker to let him use their phone, found nude photos of that person on the phone, and then texted the photos to himself. Fargo police are investigating what they believe is a credit card skimming operation. They have been receiving reports of people's credit or debit card information being used while still having the cards in their possession. It's believed the skimming operation is traveling through the area and may go back as far as January. Police say there may be multiple suspects involved. It's the concert everyone is talking about. Country music legend Garth Brooks is coming back to the Fargodome in May. And this morning, he called into the Valley Today to talk with Kyle Bosch and Lisa Bedeau about his tour, his memories of Fargo, and what people can expect at the show. Garth says fans don't have to worry about not hearing any of their favorites.
I love concerts. I go to concerts all the time, and nothing upsets me more than to go to see somebody I love and they just dump a whole new album on me, and I don't get to hear the stuff that I came there to hear. So we bring all of our old stuff, and we'll sprinkle the new stuff around. And if it takes us, forever to get through all the stuff, it takes us forever. We just have a fun, feel lucky to be playing, and feel lucky to be touring at this level this late in our career.
Coming up tonight on Valley News Live at 6, hear what Garth told Kyle and Lisa about the possibility of adding more shows in Fargo. And if you're like many people in the Valley, eager to get your hands on Garth Brooks tickets, the general manager of the Fargodome suggests creating an account online before tickets go on sale tomorrow.
Go to fargodome.com, read on the verbiage on there. It'll tell you how to get in to create that account so that your ticketing purchase experience can be as good as possible come 10 a.m.
Sobolik also wants to remind buyers that you cannot purchase tickets at the Fargodome tomorrow morning. Like Sobolik mentioned, tickets go on sale at 10 in the morning. There are a few runs that will mean more to the Fargo-Moorhead community than this one coming up in June. Valley News Live is sponsoring the second annual Officers Down 5K and Community Day on Saturday, June 18th at the Shields Arena. This event celebrates officers who put their lives on the line and honors those who have fallen in the line of duty. All participants who register by June 1st will get a race day t-shirt. A portion of the money raised will go to the Red River Valley Lodge 1 Auxiliary and the Mosier Family Benefit Fund. For more information or to get registered, go to valleynewslive.com and click on the Community tab. What St. Patrick's Day would be complete without some authentic food and drinks? Smells of traditional dishes are coming from the kitchen at Blarney Stone Irish Pub. The menu features items like bangers and mash, corned beef and cabbage, and even shepherd's pie. They also have multiple taps of beers from Ireland for those looking to wash down their food with an Irish drink. Managers say today they'll have extra people on staff to help.
Obviously, St. Patrick's Day is one of our busiest days of the year, if not the busiest day of the year. You know, it's funny how everybody is Irish on St. Patrick's Day. Got to find that place to go. You know, we're generally busy from pretty much open to close. Blarney Stone is open until 1 a.m. Something is fishy.